Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Blind Squirrel Talk, Famous in a Small Town. I'm Lulu.
I'm Kim, and we are lucky enough today to have Angie Geary, who works for Main Street News. She covers all the shenanigans that go around here in Maysville, and we're just happy to know her, to have her here, and hear about her story because she is one interesting lady, and I'm tickled. So here we go, squirrels.
Yeah.
All right, so tell us, I need everybody to know, because I think it's fascinating, how long have you been in the newspaper business?
I've been in the newspaper. This year is March is 40 years.
Wow.
Dang. And doesn't she look good?
She started when she was 8.
I was a teenager going to the University of Georgia, majoring in journalism when I started. But 40-year anniversary this March.
Congratulations.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Okay, but you did tell us a little tidbit about doing newspaper work prior to that.
Even before that, since I was a kid, I loved newspapers. We traveled, my mom and dad and my sister, I would always get the newspaper, whatever town we were in. And when I was 10, I wanted a typewriter for my birthday, which, you know, is kind of unusual. I love dolls and Barbies, but I wanted a typewriter. And the reason I wanted it was to type up my little family newspaper. So that's what I did. I walked around. My aunts and cousins lived all around me. I asked them what was going on. I typed up the news. My mom made copies. I wish I still had a copy of it, but we don't.
That would be a book. You
I
could publish that.
love to have a copy of that. So I did that when I was 10, and then, of course, in elementary school, high school, always on the newspaper staff. Journalism was just the natural thing I wanted to do. I just love writing and reading.
I love that. And you have some other things that you do with your life. Tell us about that.
Also, one of the stories I did for, the Main Street newspaper owns 5 newspapers. I also sometimes write for the others. So I did a story in Jackson County on Foothills Regional High School, some of you may have heard of. And it's an evening school, 4:30 to 8:30, Monday through Thursday. And I have a real passion for it. I was just writing the story that night at home, and I just felt compelled to, they were hiring mentors. So I started out as a mentor. And now I coordinate the mentor program. Every student has a mentor. So if you have a student where the day school's just not working for whatever reason, we're a good option. So check that out, Foothills Regional High School.
How would you get involved with that if, say, I wanted to be a mentor? Or...
Yes, check our website out. We're always listing when we have mentor positions opening because we have, every kid has their own mentor. And you might have 5 to 10 students on your caseload, so you have more than one, but it's very rewarding. I've gotten very close to those kids. They'll still, even after they've graduated, I had one not long ago FaceTime me at 7:30 on a Sunday morning to tell me she'd been in an accident, but like I tell them when they graduate, I'm always your mentor. So.
Oh, Angie, you just have such a big heart.
Well, I always say I want to be there for your next graduation and your wedding and whatever you do, let me know. I'm your mentor. So it's been very rewarding.
So how many students do they currently have at Foothills?
We've had up to 200, 250. Right now it's a little low. COVID things changed for everybody, but we are back up to around 100 and we hope to keep growing. It's ages 14 to 21.
And they're in Jackson County?
It's in Jefferson.
Okay.
We cover all of Jackson County and we have some Maysville students. And you can actually live in another county. If you live across the line in Banks County, you could still come to our high school.
So it will service both Jackson and Banks?
It does, and it's in Jefferson. It's called the Empower Center. It's the former Jackson County High School.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah. I know where that is.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So you've been knowing Maysville for a long time, 40 years, I
Yes,
guess, or longer.
Yes, I have. I've been a regular at your festivals and your events.
Well, tell us what you've seen, the changes, good and bad. You know, we've been vibrant, not vibrant, maybe a little bit of things going on. What have you seen, the changes? What do you think caused those? What would you like to see as we're starting to grow? We're starting to have some positive.
Right. I would love to see the downtown vibrant again because I remember when other businesses were there, the Fat Finch was there, my mother and her little lady friends would go once a week. I like those kind of businesses and I would like to see all those shops and restaurants downtown bustling again and not empty. I don't like to see empty storefronts. And I think we have a lot of, I say we, I feel a part of Maysville as well. We have a lot of new people in Maysville and that's helping bring some new ideas in. So that's a good thing. That's one of the biggest changes, new people being involved and caring about it and giving input. And that's always a good thing. It's good to get input from new people and also listen to the old people who've been there forever. Like I've lived in Nicholson forever. It's good. And we have some new people there. It's good, I think, to get input from the new people as well as those who've lived there all their lives.
Right.
You have to find a balance and
What was the high point of Maysville?
I know the festival is a high point because people come from all over, and I think that's an event that you're known for. When people say Maysville, if I mention Maysville, they'll go, "Oh yeah, I had a booth there, or I shopped there, or I remember the parade." I think your festival is your central point that people will know about.
We can't let that die.
No, you don't need to let that die because people love that, and you need to keep it downtown because in Nicholson, where I live, they moved it out of the main strip. We don't really have a downtown, but they moved it off in the back, and it's not the same. You need to leave it in your main strip.
Right.
So I would leave it down here and just keep making it as big as you can every year.
We're working now that the DDA has taken over. You know, that was quite a transition from, you know, the community club handled it, and we're admittedly learning.
New.
So, you know, we'll take any criticism and guidance that, you know, you want to offer.
Like I say, I would just keep making that a big effort and involving people from all throughout town to make it successful.
Well, a 40-year career. I mean, think about that.
Yes.
A 40-year
Amazing.
career. Tell us about some of the more, I mean, I'm sure they're all memorable, but some of the more memorable interviews
Right.
you've done or
Right.
articles you've written.
I'll save the Maysville until second. The first one I remember is when actress Kim Basinger bought Brazelton, and that brought people from all over. Because I was used to being the only reporter there, but I'm at events and there's like, you know, CNN and ABC and NBC, and I'm like bustling for my spot. So that was interesting. When nothing ever came of it, she never developed it, but for a while it was very exciting. And then in Maysville, I've interviewed a lot of interesting people. You have a lot of interesting people in this town. I remember most recent one I did was Amber Gilbert, that's Brantley Gilbert, the country star's wife. They've moved, but they lived in Maysville. It was a Maysville address, and she was a Maysville elementary school teacher.
Right.
So you can still claim Amber. She's a very lovely lady. I went out to their home when they still lived in the Maysville side, and she did a podcast on cooking and recipes.
Nice.
And
I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
So I really enjoyed talking with Amber. She's such a kind lady, has strong faith. She's since started a private home. It's not really a private school, it's a homeschool hybrid. So she does that in Jefferson now. They have about 100 kids. It's elementary.
I think that's
So,
where
yes.
Danny's kids go.
My sister is a retired teacher, and she works there with Amber now. So I enjoyed talking with Amber. And I've known Brantley since he was a teenager. He used to work in the press room of the Jackson Herald.
I didn't know that.
So
Wow.
we were coworkers.
Yeah.
But then my favorite Maysville story, I brought the book, Miss Maddie Lou O'Kelly. I knew all the old timers were here, but I'm pleased that you ladies know of Maddie Lou as well.
Of course, we love
So
her.
interesting. I interviewed Maddie Lou in the 90s probably. She had just written this book. She has written little blurbs to go with her paintings, and she was such a fascinating lady. She was born in 1908 at a Maysville farm and worked several jobs just to help support her family. And when she was 60, she thought, I like painting. I'm going to try painting. And she had never painted before. And she's now one of the most well-known American folk artists. She took a bus to Atlanta and took her little stack of paintings. I mean, it's just a little country girl, went in with her paintings and blew them away.
Yeah.
And now she's a permanent exhibit in the High Museum in Atlanta and the Smithsonian. So I loved meeting Maddie Lou, and I treasure this book where she wrote
Oh,
to
she signed
Angie.
it. That gives me chills.
To Angie, best wishes, Maddie Lou. And I was just going to share a couple that are interesting because they're about Maysville. Look at this photo of Maysville. This is what you want Maysville to look like
Yes.
again, Kim. This is what you should do.
Oh, my goodness.
Let's see. This is Maysville. I'll hold it up
Wow.
after you ladies look at it. But look at that.
Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll share it and then I'll read what she wrote about Maysville. But this is Maysville, downtown Maysville. And Maddie Lou just was self-taught. She just painted things that she remembered from her childhood. And this one she said, Lily is her sister. Lily never liked working in the fields and having dirt balls clattering to the hems of her petticoats. Finally, she persuaded Papa to let her take a business course in the city so she could get a city job. We're all at the depot in Maysville to see her off when she catches the train for Atlanta.
Wow.
That is my favorite one in here. And I also love the one she did on the Banks County. The Sunday school celebration over there has been going on for over 100 years. It's really a cool event. And she coming to the celebration, that was Homer. Look at Homer.
Wow.
Wow.
Look at that.
So this is Homer. And this is what she had to say about Homer. It's the last Saturday in July, and Miss Delia and I are flying down the road in our buggy on the way to the Sunday school celebration in Homer. It's a good chance to see lots of friends and visit over a picnic in the shade. All the churches in the surrounding counties take part, and the day is full of carrying on, speeches, singing, preaching, and praying. And they still do that. They have their covered dish meal. Everybody brings something. So anyway, I treasure that because I thought Maddie Lou was such a character. She was just a really interesting lady, very down to earth, plain spoken.
Yeah.
You have got some stories. I mean, what a delight.
When you wanted me to talk, I thought I have no stories.
Yes, you do.
Oh, you have lots of stories.
I have so many I forget them, but it's good to recall them. And Maddie Lou will always be a favorite. Yeah.
And you're also a fixture at all of our council meetings. I
Yes,
love that.
I go to Maysville City Council.
Got to keep us straight.
try. Y'all kept me straight lately. You kept me on my toes. But I cover the Banks County Board of Education, Board of Commissioners, Planning Commission. So
Do you ever get time off? I mean,
not really. Every day I have my list, and I'm old school. I have my notebook and I write because every day I do newspaper work, foothills work, caregiving for my mom work. So every day there's a list of things to do. But God gives you more strength than you ever thought you would have. Because I used to, when I just worked, thought I'm exhausted, but now I just didn't know what I was talking about.
Yeah. Now that you have 3 jobs.
Exactly. It's a lot. And caregiving's a big role. Everyone out there who's a caregiver, bless your hearts, because, and I'm blessed to do it. My parents took care of me. I'm going to take care of them. That's what you do. That's what you're supposed to do. But it's a lot.
Yeah, it
So,
is. It is.
Extra prayers for all you out there taking care of someone.
Yeah, get your angel wings for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow, all these stories. So, you've seen the newspaper, I guess, transition over the years. I know, like in
Yes.
Atlanta, nobody buys the paper, but
Yes.
here, I will say though, because the newspaper box is right downstairs, and I see it all the time. When Wednesday hits, it is a parade out here. Everybody getting those newspapers. These boxes always sell out. So
That's good to hear.
It's comforting to me to see
Right.
that people still get the newspaper. But so when you started 40 years ago, what change have you seen from then until now?
I'll tell you the changes, but first, the reason I think we're still here is because of community journalism. Where else are you going to get if your kid scored the winning football game, or you want to know if your city council is going to opt out of House Bill 581? That's where you're going to find out the details on that. If your kid's on the honor roll, I mean, I love that news. I love community journalism. So that's why it's still alive. They want to know that kind of stuff. In the big city, they may not care as much, and they get it other ways. But we still have people who want to hold it in their hand, and they
smell it, feel
yes,
it. Yeah.
they want to read those obituary notices. I mean, those are sad, but that's what people like to see. I mean, they like to get that kind of news. The changes, it's the way we put it together is totally different. We used to do it by hand, and now everything, of course, is technology. I can put pages together from my house. And I don't actually have to go in the office that much. Everything, the technology's just gone crazy. So I'm putting pages together. Windstream is bad. So sometimes in my Windstream, you need to increase your speed. So at my house, sometimes
Yes.
I can't do pages. I live in the country in Nicholson, but I'll drive up to the Commerce Library, and I can put pages together anywhere. I can put one together here. So the way you can work remotely and virtually has changed a lot. And of course, we've had to be on with Facebook, and we have a website, and it has a paywall. People get upset about that, but we still have to get paid, so we have to have the
Right.
paywall.
Right.
If it's free, I'm
Out of
not going to have a
business.
job anymore. So we have a website with a paywall, and we have Facebook. If something we want to get out right away, it's free on Facebook, and we'll put it out. If some disaster happened or wonderful thing happened, I could get it out. Like right now, I could get my phone and get it out. So technology has changed the business a lot, but I'm glad there's still people out there that want to hold that paper in their hands and read it. So.
So you still have a press room in the.
The press room's in Jefferson, and we print all 5 papers over there. There's a Brazelton paper, Madison County, Jackson County, Banks County. 4 now, I guess. We used to have the Commerce News, but we have the 4, and they're all printed in Jefferson. Huge press room. On Wednesdays, it's going like crazy over there. So,
How many
yeah.
people work in the press room?
The press room is probably more than the news and ad department put together. The press room probably has 20 people over there stacking
Wow.
papers and all those sales papers, inserting those by hand.
yeah.
So it's crazy over there on Wednesdays in our press room. We have some great folks that work over there.
My husband put himself through college working for Athens Banner Herald, and he said those were some of the best days of his life.
Yes.
He loved it. He just, I mean, I don't know, the excitement of waiting until UGA finished their game late at night.
Right.
They didn't go home till that was written and printed.
Yes,
So,
when I go to your meetings, I usually go home and write the story. And we print usually on Tuesday night, but occasionally there'll be something on Tuesday night I want to get in, so I'll say, hold the presses.
Literally.
This
Hold
week
the
I got to
presses.
say, hold the presses, because I had that planning commission meeting about a big development
oh
proposed
gosh,
for the
that
drag.
was news.
So I said, hold the presses. So, you get home and you're exhausted, but you write that story, you put that page together, you send it to the press. So, it's very...
It's exciting work.
I enjoy it. You have to love it. You have to love it because you're not... You're not going to make a lot of money. You're not going to be famous, but you have to have, the old saying was you have to have ink in your blood. If you have ink in your blood, you could do it for 40 years and still love it.
Yeah.
Well, you're famous to us.
That's
We look
sweet.
forward to seeing
That's
you
sweet.
every month, or more than that sometimes here
Yes,
lately.
yes. And you get to know a lot of people. I used to write a column every week, but I'm older and more busy, so I don't always have an idea or time. But I've gotten to know a lot of people that way because I write about travel. I love to travel. I write about my family, my faith, my cat. So I'll see people in angles. How's Taz, my cat? What's your nephew doing now? So it's fun to stay in touch with. And I know if people call me Angela, they don't really know me. They just see my name in the paper.
Right.
So I'm not going to, I got to school with you. Who are you?
Yeah.
But if they say Angela, they just love the paper. But if they say Angie, like you ladies, you're friends.
Yeah.
Aw. Well, I'm glad I'm your friend.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so with a 40-year career, and just based on your personality, I can't ever see you retiring. Can you?
No, newspaper people don't retire.
Okay.
The lady that does our legal notices is 93.
Oh my gosh.
Miss Betty's been there probably almost as long as I have. Most of the people there I've worked with 20, 30 years. So we have had a couple retire lately. So we have some youngsters in now who are doing a great job. I remember when I was the youngest one at the paper, now in the oldest category. But I can't ever
It
imagine.
stinks getting old.
It does. It does. But I can't ever imagine stopping. And really, in the newspaper, like you just work on, you don't stop. I mentioned my sister. She's a school teacher. They get to retire. She's retired.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
newspaper people don't retire. But that's why you have to love it. If you love it, it's okay.
Now, how long has Miss Betty been there at 93?
Now, I remember interviewing Betty.
Wow.
So, and she told us at this time, now I'm a little older, I'm in my 60s. So it's been about 30 years, Miss Betty's been
Wow.
there. She does a great job. That's a tedious job. Legal
Yeah.
It
notices,
probably
yes.
keeps her young and mentally
It
sharp.
keeps her mentally strong. It would have to.
Yeah.
You know, legal notices, it's very,
Right.
all that legalese, it's very technical and complicated, but
Well, I have to ask this question since I can't even use my cell phone. Does she use a computer?
she does. She does.
Wow.
Yes,
wow.
she does.
That's
I
amazing.
admire that.
Yes.
I do too.
I know my parents don't use a computer, so
Yeah.
a lot of older people don't.
Right.
But yeah, but that reminds me of another change. When we started, I wrote my stories on typewriters. So it's so much easier. I mean, when I was at Georgia, at the University of Georgia, a typing test was part of journalism school. We had a
Right.
typing test.
Right.
Because I remember I thought we were just doing the practice run, but I could type fast. And he was like, that was the real test. But I passed it. It was fine. But yeah, but now you can change things, rewrite things, run spell check on it.
Back when, when I was in high school, we did have to take typing as a class.
I had it in high school as well.
I think that you're on the computer in pre-K, so you're learning that so early on.
You don't learn to type, like you don't learn where to put your hands on the keyboards. Like I put my hands automatically on the spots on the, but these kids today just, I could not write a story that way. So thankful for my typing classes and background.
Yeah.
Things are different now.
Yes, things are different, but lots of good, still lots of good out there.
Yeah. Well, lots of good because you're out there telling us about all the good, and we
Thank you.
appreciate that.
I like the good. A lot of journalists, they love that political story. I want to tell the good stories. I mean, I'm going to tell the bad stories too, but I love a good story. I love a heartwarming story.
Well, as moms, we all love our babies. Let's just say we do have somebody in our community who has this great story about their kid, this great story about their church, this great story about the
Yes.
next event. How do they go about getting it in the
Yes,
newspaper?
I love story. You used to send me stuff about your son. We just put that connection together. But I remembered that the Piano Boy's mom used to email me stuff. So Angela at mainstreetnews.com. Email me tips, ideas. I'll come out and interview you, or I'll do a over the phone interview. But I'll get the story. I'm always looking for story ideas for Banks and Jackson County.
Perfect. Perfect. Good to know.
Yes,
She's great. She always responds. Always.
I try.
You do. Well, you have with me, and I feel fortunate.
Yeah, well, we appreciate your time. We appreciate you coming out, and
Yes.
we're gonna have you back again. And thank you for the Maddie Lou O'Kelly because we love
Yes,
her.
I was drifting off to sleep, and I thought, Maddie Lou O'Kelly.
Yeah.
She was a wonderful lady. So.
Yeah, O'Kelly is synonymous with Maysville.
Yes, yes.
Definitely
So I was
is.
glad to share some of her stories with
Yeah,
you.
well, we
Well,
appreciate
we appreciate you
Yes.
being here with us.
All right.
And
Well,
we
thank
hope
you.
you come
again.
back,
Yes,
too.
thank you for asking me.
Yeah, so we thank you for tuning in yet again to another episode of Blind Squirrel Talk, Famous in a Small Town. I'm Lulu,
I'm Kim.
I'm Angie.
and we will see y'all next time. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye y'all.